And welcome once again to Living in the 21st Century. Joining today is Vasyl Shavchenko, former transportation minister of Ukraine. Vasyl, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you for invitation. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I want to start first by just reading a few losses that, I don't have to call it few losses, but some losses that Russia would have had during this war, and we will then go from there. So we are looking at 458,750 troops had been killed, APVs 13,873, vehicles 15,717, that's fuel tanks. Then tanks, we have 7,213, artillery, 11,678, UAVs, 9,341, MLRs, 1,046, and planes, we're looking at 348 planes, helicopters, 325, cruise missiles, 2,109, anti-aircraft warfare, 763, special equipment 1,918, warships, boats 26, and submarines 1. Now, Vasyl, this is really a heavy loss to Russia. I'm trying to imagine how much more military equipment they have to continually fight this war against Ukraine, considering that they had taken other countries before for a way less and shut up in a couple of days. And at this point, over a year now, they still ain't really made any big headway in fighting the Ukrainian military. Do you have an idea what Putin may be thinking at this point? That this probably is a mistake?
I'd like to start my speech since their opinion about their army, I mean Russians. They wanted to be second biggest army, nuclear armed and powerful army. And they decided to storm Ukraine, and they decided to invade and capture Ukraine during 3 days. And they launched 100,000 their soldiers to attack Ukraine. And as a result, you can see that Ukraine have eliminated big part of Russia army. To be honest, our partners, our neighbors didn't believe that we will be able to wage this kind of war. And a few days before this meeting, Germany's finance minister commented to Ukraine counterparts that in a couple of days, Ukraine wouldn't exist, and it appeared we exist. And at third year of war, second biggest army have captured about 15% Ukraine's territory. We are including with the territories they captured when they backed pro-Russian separatists in Ukraine. But we know that it was Russians. And now it's 11 year of our war. And exactly as a result of this cruel battle, Ukraine have run out of weapon. Because, for example, we have ammunition, but all this ammunition was used for waging really cruel war. Thanks United States, whose first provided us Western type of weapon, who drilled our soldiers to use it, and thanks different type of ammunition, we managed to liberate more than half captured by Russians territory. We have liberated more than half territory they managed to capture from the very beginning. And now we are waging war effectively, but for example, we have no enough rounds. For example, for every 10 Russians rounds, we can use only one. And because of it, we addressed to our partners, addressed to United States, and are holding negotiations with countries who's able to provide us, to sell us ammunition which would allow us to wage war. And we know that Russians decided that it's their last chance to storm Ukraine, because after United States support, they believe that we managed to eliminate their defense line and their attempt to storm our troops. Because, for example, I'd like to comment results of their waging war against Ukraine during last year. They managed to capture only central of district Donetsk region. It's a small city, and now they this year they managed to capture another small city, Bakhmut, because of changing type of waging war. They, for example, started using so-called guiding bomb, which were launched from the distance from 40 to 70 kilometers from it, and it was has from half ton to 1.5 ton, and any fortification can endure it. And they were destroyed, and there was quite difficult, and Ukraine forces commanders made the decision to withdraw troops from this dangerous situation. And in those time, Ukraine forces, thanks Western air defense systems, managed to eliminate more than 13 Russia's fighter jets, bombers and fighter jets. And them, they decided to use the same time of tactics against civilian, and now are suffering our bordering city. First of all, it's cities which are located at the short distance. And now we and people around the world know that Russia isn't fighting with military. They are fighting with the people, with the civilians. They are targeting their long-range bombs to settlements, to residential areas, just to eliminate, just to frighten Ukrainians. And they hope that Ukrainians will push Ukraine's authority to sign agreement, because we know that as a result of this war, Russia have received really huge casualties. You confirmed that they have lost about 500,000 soldiers. 500,000 soldiers in Ukraine were killed. And they don't care, because it's type of autocracy. They don't care for human lives. And former Ukraine's forces commander confirmed that his main mistake was that he hoped that Russians would stop waging war as a result of this kind of huge casualties. But they haven't stopped. They don't care for human lives.
Okay. One question I want to ask, is any of the land that Russia made claims to taking from Ukraine, was any of that recovered? Did Ukraine military ever get the opportunity to retrieve back that land?
To be honest, to stop them, Ukraine's forces have tried to use different type of tactics. First of all, today at night was eliminated Russia's long-range bomber, really expensive and really powerful bomber, which was launching missiles from the distance about 400 kilometers. And Ukraine's forces used so-called type of mix Ukrainian and Western technologies system named Frank and Sam managed to shot it, and it's a big success because it's first long-range bombers was shot down. And every night Russians are informing that they have drones blow. Ukraine's drones, they alleged attacking Russia's infrastructure. To be honest, Russians have eliminated all Ukraine's power electricity producing stations which are working at the coal and the gas. They have fully eliminated. We have zero power of this electricity, but we have another type of stations. It's nuclear power producing stations, and we have electricity, and we have chance to fight, and we have chance to produce our ammunition. First of all, I wanted to recall that Ukraine's company have managed to change type of war. For example, Ukraine started using so-called FPV drones, which are effectively attacking their tanks and military vehicles and arm carriers and another type of military vehicles, and thanks them we have managed to deter them at this territory, and if we have enough ammunition, we will be ready to fight more effectively and to storm in different places. For example, Ukraine forces at the southern part of Ukraine are fighting effectively and slowly are moving and are allocated are at the distance 60 kilometers from main direction to Crimea, illegally occupied Ukraine's peninsula by Russians. And this type of tactics are changing effectively, and they are following us and trying to prevent. And to be honest, they have really powerful military industry. And because of it, you can see very often that Russia's military plants were hit by drones. And it have happened at the different distance, including more than 1,000 kilometers from Ukraine's border. These drones are fighting and bombing them.
Okay. I want to ask you this question. The NATO nations had made their recommitment in terms of pledging more assistance to the Ukraine for this war. While here in the U.S., there's still fights in trying to get budgetary assistance in place for both Ukraine, Israel, and Taiwan. It seems like a little bit problematic in the House, actually. What what would be Zelensky thinking about this, even though the NATO nations still stand firm behind you for this support from the United States?
First of all, I think that most important thing that NATO bloc was encouraged to develop the war in Ukraine, because war between Israel and Iranian backed so-called mercenaries, it's slightly different. To be honest, our partners and the United States didn't know how to react, and now all countries are trying to avoid to be involved in this conflict. And because of it, you can see very often that NATO bloc are not involved in waging war in Ukraine. It means that they don't want to provoke a country which has a nuclear weapon, and they don't know how to forecast their behavior in this kind of situation. But Ukraine have demonstrated that Russia's army are not able to capture Ukraine. And they are not able to move inside Ukraine without additional support. Now we have understood that China decided to cooperate with them in military sphere, just to support them. And because of it, Ukraine decided to act differently. We have signed agreement between countries, our neighboring country, concerning providing support in the case of invasion we have. And this way would allow us to wage this war to defend our country. But another things, and it's that Russia Federation have spread their propaganda around the world, and it appeared that in the Parliament of United States, in European Parliament, have formed faction which are ready to repeat Russia's propaganda. It means that they have become part of this political system, and Western countries must understand that Russia isn't good partners in different type of business, because having business with Russia, it means that you are in tough cooperation, and this cooperation will be used against you. Ukraine had tough relations with the Russia Federation 30 years ago, and as a result, you can see that Russia turning any cooperation, Russia is turning into weapon. And Russia turned into weapon supplying gas to Europe. They have turned to weapon supplying oil around the world. Now they are spreading lie, mixing truth and lie, and people cannot understand, who are not deeply involved in these events, can hear a lie and can't believe that Russia is trying to demonstrate willing to have peace agreement with Ukraine. But it's lie, because we had this type of agreement with them, and they need only recharging their army. And they have no choice, because it will be main threat for powerful leaders, Russia Federation, because they haven't achieved their so-called goals, and they will continue doing it. But I think that slowly we, thanks military forces of Ukraine, we have received, all people around the world have received a chance to understand what it means to cooperate with the Russia Federation and how Russia looks like. Because, for example, we know that they demonstrated their interest in having business, in providing transport routes, but it's appeared they wanted to have additional key point to press for countries who's against them. And thanks to United States, Europe has received a chance to understand that they must be ready. Now they have chance to give us weapon, but tomorrow no one can forecast it, because there are a lot of challenging point, and no can forecast how Russia will treat to them.
Well, that's this question. In Dnipro, I think that is, 3 were killed, 24 was injured. Is this a small city that you said earlier that was taken by the Russians?
No, they have chance to shell this city. They are trying to shell city which are allocated at the short distance, because, for example, the only type of missile we cannot intercept is ballistic missiles, because ballistic missiles has higher speed, and the only system can intercept it. It's Patriot system. And we have only 3 systems, and we are not able to protect this region, because, first of all, allocating them close to battle line will immediately give a chance Russians to eliminate it.
Is there a possibility you can acquire or seek assistance from other NATO allies to get these kind of missiles to intercept those ballistic missiles?
We have run out of missiles to Patriot system, and because of it, we are effectively fighting against Iran's drones. And missiles, but ballistic missiles, it's a problem, and it can be intercepted when it has a longer distance. Short distance cannot be calculated by missile system, and because of they are using against residential cities missiles which were prepared just to eliminate warships. There is 1 ton of explosion. Just imagine, and it isn't precision missiles, and they are sure that they will target in the big city. They don't care that they are living children and civilians and elderly persons. And they main idea to launch and to spread terror around Ukraine. But now we have chance to intercept it, and we will try to cooperate. I think that military officials are in tough cooperation with the partners, and we are looking for instruments to prevent it. But before resist them only Patriot system.
Okay. So far, how is the mental status right now into the war looks for the Ukrainian people? Is this still on the belief that they're going to win this war? Is the morale up on the positive side?
To be honest, we had worst time in 2022. Now,
Yes.
Ukrainians, part of Ukrainians who fled from Ukraine turned back because we have beautiful and comfortable country for life,
Yes.
and the Ukrainians decided to move back. And to be honest, people cannot have good mood when you have
Absolutely.
during the night. What, for example, today we since the midnight we have had two air alert. And some cities were shelled by Russians. But in most of cities of Ukraine, people are not under threat, and people are ready to fight further. But only, for example, we have our domestic military industry, and our military industry is developed enough, but to cover this result, to cover it, we have only 30% from money Ukraine's industry can cover, and Ukraine's officials were asked by producers to export Ukraine's weapon just to sell abroad and to have money, but it's prohibited, and Ukraine's president is having negotiations with our partners, and our partners decided to pay weapon which is being produced by Ukraine's military industry. First, it's Denmark, and thanks them